I'm James Lynch, and this is my stock report for UFC Freedom 250, taking a look at the biggest winners and losers from the event. And biggest stock riser on this card, no questions asked, is not the man on the thumbnail. It is Justin Gaethje. This is going to go down as one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. Gaethje absolutely battered Ilia Topuria in this fight. No one saw this coming. Look, if you pick Gaethje, full marks, I'll give it to you. Enjoy your flowers this week. But I think if people thought Gaethje was going to win, it might be like a hard-fought decision win, or he clips, Topuria, maybe he catches him. But Ilia Topuria's face looked like hamburger helper after this fight. He couldn't even come up for the fifth round. His team threw in the towel, said he couldn't continue. This was an absolute beatdown from Justin Gaethje. And Topuria had his chance. Like I mentioned on the post-fight stream, I thought he was close to finishing that fight in the second round. He couldn't capitalize, but Justin Gaethje's stock is through the roof. This is going to go down as one of the biggest, if not the biggest moment in UFC history. UFC White House, we have an American who's a massive underdog, who's never won the undisputed title. He goes out there, gets the win, batters this opponent here. I mean, this is like the biggest stock ever in the stock report, I think. Like, Justin Gaethje has gone into like legend status from this. He was a legend before, but like to go and win a belt like this against a guy in his prime who'd never lost before, just simply amazing here. The stats back this up too. Some just incredible amount of shots in this fight. Go take a quick look. I mean, it has to be Gaethje. When you look back on this event, Gaethje will be the most memorable. Look at this, 97. Actually, Topuria outlanded him, 97-91. But just, again, with Gaethje, it was just a lot of really, significant damage to the face of Ilia Topuria. Like I said, his fate was totally battered up here. So yeah, no shocker here. Justin Gaethje, in my opinion, biggest stock riser on this card. He ends up getting it done by doctor stoppage. Second biggest stock riser on this card is the man on the thumbnail, Ciryl Gane. Dominant performance over Alex Pereira. Like, he looked awesome. A lot of times with Gane, you'll see like a decision win. He'll maybe like get the victory. He looked very good against Aspinall too, obviously. But he just destroyed Pereira. Again, the stats back this up too. Look at the significant strikes, 54-12. He got 54 significant strikes in a fight that only lasted 2 rounds. That was super impressive. I thought Gane looks like the best heavyweight on the planet right now. I think you have to pick him if he fights Aspinall again. This was just such a good win, and he made Pereira look like he didn't belong in this division. It was a very, very, very good win. Looked way faster, landed shots. I just love the killer instinct by Gane in this fight, and I think that really does, make him a fan favorite. Obviously, there was the eye pokes and people calling him a dirty fighter. And I saw Guru tweeted tonight about, he's the dirtiest fighter ever. But I think he won a lot of people over with this performance. Again, Pereira was sort of the boogeyman in this, considered, had he won this fight, he would have been like one of the GOATs of all time. But, again, it's Gane, rising to the occasion on this big event, going out there and taking out one of the biggest fan favorites in Pereira. So certainly Ciryl Gane's stock has gone through the roof with that win. That was huge. Other big stock riser on this card has got to be Sean O'Malley, knocking out Amin Zahabi. Again, I talked about the matchmaking here before this fight was made. I thought this was a pretty favorable fight here for O'Malley. Didn't have to fight Sandhagen, didn't have to fight Umar. This was by design. He's fighting a 38-year-old who does get hit a little bit and hasn't faced a power puncher. And O'Malley went out there and did what he had to do. He looked like a minus 470 favorite in terms of him getting the finish. Now, saying that, Zahabi did have success with those leg kicks. I was getting a little bit worried about that for O'Malley. But it was just a matter of him finding the button, and he does find the button. He ends up getting the win here, and he takes out Amin Zahabi, snaps Amin Zahabi's 7-fight win streak. His stock rises too because, again, like he could get the title shot next, or at the very least, he'll get the winner of a Merab and Petr Yan trilogy. So O'Malley's stock goes up big time again. American wins on here, gets a knockout. It's great. A lot of these stock risers, by the way, that I'm going to be mentioning here could easily be number one stock risers if this was a different card, but this card was stacked. Honorable mentions. Got to go to Josh Hokett, finishes Derek Lewis, 64 days in between his wins. Got to mention that. I still have a lot of questions about Hokett as far as beating some of the top guys, but I think this spoke more about Derek Lewis's decline than anything else. But Hokett gets it done, and his stock goes up because, again, he's kind of in that contender spot at heavyweight. We got to talk about Roofy taking out Chandler, who's the biggest betting favorite on the card, but he did exactly what he's supposed to do, getting a TKO win. He'll be in the mix now at lightweight as a minus 600 favorite. He gets an honorable mention. And then I got to give an honorable mention to Bo Nickel. Again, goes out there, gets a finish. That's something we've wanted from Bo Nickel in a while. We haven't seen him. I know he finished Rodolfo Vieira in his last fight, but to get a quick finish like this, we haven't seen this since some of the early Bo Nickel fights. So for him to go out there and do that on the White House, very impressive too. Another American getting the win. How about Diego Lopez as well? Steve Garcia was on a 7-fight win streak. He has knockout power. Saw a lot of people picking Steve Garcia this week. I felt like Lopez was a little bit more well-rounded. So, that's kind of, my thoughts on it, that again, Lopez's stock goes up and he's right back at the top of the division. There's some talk about him moving up to lightweight. We'll see, but Lopez, again, all the winners here have to be stock risers because these were big fights, significant fights in their division. Have to give them all mentions. But like I said, my top three would be Gaethje, Gane, and O'Malley. Let's get to our stock droppers. Biggest stock dropper on this card easily is Ilia Topuria. So many things happen with him losing in this fight. Number one, the undefeated record's gone. The cockiness about the, eating dinner before you win the fight, that's all gone. His fans, they got no leg to stand on. I mean, I saw a photo of Topuria getting wheeled out in a wheelchair. Let me see if I can find it here. See if we can find that here. I mean, it was pretty bad as far as some of the photos. I don't know if they'll be able to find one here, but he definitely took a pretty bad beating in this fight. I mean, just look at his, here, I'll even show you just his face here, just to give you something. I mean, this was pretty tough looking, right? No one's ever done this to Topuria. So the thing with him is a lot of this aura is now gone, right? Like, and then, this is the guy that wanted to retire early. Does that get delayed now with him losing? Like, what are his ambitions now? I mean, I think the Islam fight was never going to happen because I always felt like Islam would never move down to, 55 again. And I don't think they were going to let Topuria move up to 170, but just, yeah, a lot of auras lost here. One of the biggest stock drops of the year. And people were asking me on my live chat, like, who lost more stock here, Khamzat or Topuria? It's Topuria 100% because there was a case you could have made that Khamzat won that fight. He didn't look good, but there's an argument he could have won. Topuria, he just got completely beaten down in this fight. So easily the biggest stock riser on this card is Ilia Topuria. Now, Pereira obviously is another stock dropper on this card too. He gets a little more great, even though this fight was very much one-sided in favor of Ciryl Gane. At least you can make the argument that Poatan tried to move up and get a third belt. So it's a little bit different. I still think you can't take away the fact that Pereira's won 2 belts. Same thing with Topuria actually too, but at least Topuria, or at least Pereira had lost before. So not as bad as Ilia, but still Chama fans can't be talking much about him at heavyweight. I mean, a lot of people are saying stuff like Pereira was going to knock him out. Doesn't end up happening here. So again, Pereira's stock goes down big time. And then I got to go Steve Garcia. You could pick between Garcia and Zahabi. I'm going to go Steve Garcia because he's a little bit younger and he actually knocked out a lot of his opponents here. His stock goes down because, like, had he beat Lopez, he'd be in that contender spot. The fact he gets finished here in the second round, that's a tough one here too. So Garcia, third biggest stock dropper on this card. So Topuria, Pereira, and I'll go Steve Garcia as my stock droppers. Honorable mention will go to Ayman Zahabi because he was on a 7-fight win streak. I don't think Doc has had a ton of stock going into this card. Derek Lewis, it was kind of like after you saw the Waldo fight, how much stock did he have left? If we're talking about the Derek Lewis in his career, then obviously his stock goes down. Maybe you do give him an honorable mention, but yeah, I think the big stock droppers here really were Pereira and Topuria and Steve Garcia. So those are my stock droppers for this card. Again, a little bit easier, not as many fights on this one, but let me know in the comments your 3 biggest stock risers, your 3 biggest stock droppers, and give me your reasoning as well. Again, there's a lot of different ways you can look at this, but I think those are pretty straightforward for this card. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, at Lynch on Sports. If you're looking for my recap show, it's up here on the channel. Same thing with the watch along I did this evening as well. My name is James Lynch, signing off for the evening. Hope you have a good one, and I'll talk to you guys soon.